Hello. My name is Franka, which is important for the story. When I was born, a friend of my dad gifted me, but kind of gifted him, a set of comic books from which the main character's name is also Franka, and the comic books are called Franka. Um, and I really got these comic books, and I got them as a set of like 25 when I was around 11, 12, 13. And I started reading these comic books, and the first couple are very nice. She's a very innocent girl, and she's like enjoying life, and she works as a detective, and she's solving mysteries, and she has like a motorcycle, and she has a dog. And then, as more as I was reading, I got into like the further books. She gets more sexual, and the drawing style changes. All of a sudden, she has really big boobs, and she has an ass, and she dresses in very little clothing, and you see like nude scenes. And as like someone, like a girl who was going through puberty, this was kind of one of my first interactions with sexuality and what it means to have a woman's body. And having this book, which was written from a clear male perspective about a female character who was put in very strange situations, was very strange for me growing up. I remember clearly some scenes that were drawn which were of a very like sexually abusive nature towards the main character, but she seemed to be fine, and she seemed to accept everything that was happening to her. For example, there was a scene on a boat where she was investigating some crime, and there was a thief she had an interaction with, and he started touching her, and he said to her that if she starts screaming, he will like it. This, at the time when I was like 12, 13, was for me a super sexual thing, and I was like, oh, okay, so this happens. And I kind of normalized it in my head, only to later find out that this is not how I would like to be treated. And there's more stuff like this. Also, at some point, she goes undercover in a bar where she pretends to be a prostitute, and there's all these guys that are putting money in her pants and touching her, and she just does her job and is fine and is not bothered by all these men touching her. And there's so many stuff like this happening in the comic, and it's so explicit and graphic because everything is drawn. And I was so shocked, like reading this, but at the same time I was not, because I didn't know anything about sexuality, and I really based a lot of my own experiences on this. So it really influenced how I viewed romance and how I thought a woman can or should be treated. And of course later I found out that this is absolutely wrong, but it's kind of strange how it's written from such a perspective, and it's just played off as if it's fine and as if it's from the woman's perspective because she's the main character. And it's kind of strange how during all these sexual acts that happen to her during her work, she betrays the feeling that she's fine with everything and that nothing bad is actually happening to her, while it's a lot of bad stuff that's happening to her, and she's fully being taken advantage of. Just because she has to go undercover to do a job doesn't mean she shouldn't be treated with respect. And to not know these things as someone who's growing up and very young and doesn't have any experience with stuff like this, or like how to be treated romantically, it's so wrong to get these ideas as a book you read just to have fun, and then all these ideas are being put in your head that this is fine to be treated like this. It's super dangerous and can cause people to be put in situations that are abusive. And it's actually really weird that a grown man gifted these books for the birth of someone's daughter.